Hello everyone. Today we're working on a BMW 535i wagon, the E61 model. In this particular case, it has the N54 engine, and we're going to be replacing the fuel filter. To get started, you're going to want to remove anything from the back seat. In my particular case, it's a paper towel roll. We're going to be removing these rear seats. Now in this particular model, the fuel pump is on the passenger side and the fuel filter is on the driver's side. Now to get started, you're going to want to remove the rear seat. Usually this is pretty easy. You just pull upright on the left and right side of the seat. Now if you have rear heated seats, just be careful not to kink up any wires, pull them unnecessarily. And do be cautious when you pull the seat out, as the cables are going to be connected to the bottom of the seat. We are going to have to get this out of our way, so just gently fold it back. From here, we can go ahead and get started. Remove the 4 nuts holding the cover on. And you'll see me messing with this. You'll definitely want to remove the fuel line first. Just make sure that the car has been sitting for a few hours. You don't want any built up pressure in this line before you remove it. As for the tool that I'm leveraging to remove the screw cap that's holding the fuel filter down, it's just a generic fuel filter removal tool. I ended up taking an impact to it, as I was a little afraid taking the socket wrench would tear up the metal tabs on the screw cap. I did make a mark on the screw cap and the body of the car to make sure I can get it back to where it was originally. Now to hopefully aid you in your removal of this, I've cut a video of what it looks like from the outside to remove some of the accessories here. You're going to want 2 larger flatheads, one to hold a pin down and then another to squeeze this connector out. Similarly, on most of the connectors, you're going to want to take a flathead to it and see if you can press and pry some of these connectors out. As for the fuel line connections, you're going to want to pinch, and maybe throw a flathead screwdriver in there to help press the connectors out. Same thing on the fuel filter end. This did take me some time. You'll see me working through this. I had to take a few different angles to get those flatheads in there. It's a little tough with the filter floating, but once you've got everything out, you're going to see that fuel straining from the bottom of the fuel filter. No, the fuel color shouldn't look like that. Should be a clearer color. That's part of why I'm working on replacing this in the first place. As we go through this process, you'll see me oftentimes pull the new fuel filter up just to compare and contrast how things are connected. I definitely recommend that if this is your first time in one of these. When you've got everything disconnected and you're ready to remove the fuel filter, you're going to want to take the top end of that fuel filter, point it towards the back of the car, and as you're lifting it out, perhaps shift it over to the passenger side. Now I'm cleaning up the mess inside from what the fuel filter left. You'll see a lot of brown coming out of those paper towels. I just didn't want that in the fuel tank for the new fuel filter. Do take note of the connectors and how you're going to want to connect these once it's in the tank, as there's not much space to connect them outside of the tank. Don't forget any new O-rings will need to be placed on here. Typically I lube these up with a bit of silicone grease. Now this part was really tricky to record, but I did the best I could with the camera angles available. You'll see I struggle a lot with trying to get the cables or connectors out far enough for me to handle them while I'm trying to connect them. First choice for me was the larger connector that went to the bottom. From there, I snapped in the electrical connector that you see here. Orientation of these two fuel line connectors does matter. You'll see me struggling a little attempting to connect that straight line connector. You'll want this This is where I start to realize there's no way this is going to work, so I take this straight line connector and try to navigate it under the other two connectors. Before diving in and dropping this filter back into place, just make sure there's no snags with any of the wires or connectors and that it's good to go. As far as reassembly goes, it's just a matter of reversal of disassembly. Just make sure you have your O-ring in there, nothing snagged up on the bottom end. I did have to leverage a flathead to hold the filter down while I tightened the screw cap. Now, don't forget about that mark that you made on the screw cap and the body of the car. You'll want to try to get it as closely aligned as possible. Also, a small reminder that if this video is helpful to you, don't forget to like and subscribe.